Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver
Hey guys,
now.
Bix Weir, RoadTour.com. Lots going on in the silver world. Lots going on in the silver world, although if you just look at price, it doesn't look like much is going on. We do have, before I go any further, Andy at Miles Franklin just posted that they have Silver Eagles on sale for $9.49 over spot. I would not call them on sale. The whole reason that Silver Eagles are trading at such a huge premium is the criminality going on at the U.S. Mint by not making coins to meet demand on purpose. They know there's a massive silver shortage. They don't want to be contributing to that shortage. But what they're doing is taking away, my estimate is 40 million ounces of silver demand through U.S. Silver Eagles every year. At least 40 million. And they should be selling Silver Eagles at cost. They are even marking their own coins up. They made, I think, $80 million off of Silver Eagles by barely selling any last year. That is completely and utterly illegal. But that's your U.S. government now. There is no law anymore in the U.S. So if I'd only buy Silver Eagles at $9.49 over spot if you don't have Silver Eagles. You're going to need some. If you live in the United States, that is going to be our money. And one of the options that the people will have, maybe not people at the Mint or the U.S. Treasury, if those entities are even standing, is to nationalize all the silver in the world, all the silver they can get their hands on. Why do I come to that conclusion after all these years saying, nationalization is impossible? Because if there is no money circulating, meaning the banks shut down and can't reopen because fractional reserve has died, then you're going to have to use something else as money. Constitutionally, we can go back to gold and silver, and that's what is all in the Road to Ruta documents is all about, going back to gold and silver as money, mainly gold. But also silver is the number one money, I would guess, based on how many millions of coins the U.S. Mint has ready to implement. When the old system dies and the new one starts, there is massive amounts of gold eagles and different types of gold coins, American issued coins, as well as massive amount of silver. Now, I think there's a lot more gold than silver. I think everybody's going to find that out the hard way. But you're going to need some, because they could say, okay, it's illegal to hoard silver. They'll use some crazy rule because we don't have money and we're going to use it as money. Any way you look at it, industry is going to need their silver too. So Silver Eagles will always, at all times, have to be more valuable than any other bulk type of silver, because otherwise they'll just melt it down. Elon Musk would take the Silver Eagles and just melt them down, even though it's 100% illegal to do that. And supposedly J.P. Morgan has done that with millions of ounces of Silver Eagles, melted them into COMEX bars, according to Ted Butler. I don't know about that one. I think if they did, clearly the records would be there. The J.P. Morgan was an authorized distributor for the U.S. Mint for a very long time. It was in there. They used to have a list of all of them. They aren't anymore, or at least they don't show up. But they were buying most of the Eagles directly from the Mint. And if Ted is right that they melted them down into 5,000 ounce, into 1,000 ounce bars for the COMEX contracts, that is, I think it's punishable by death if you do something like that to the currency of the United States of America, or at least it used to be. Anyway, yes, the abuse of the American currency has been going on for a very long time by some very criminal people. So yes, my take is I'd have a hard time buying at $10 over spot or $9.50 over spot, but if that's the cheapest you can get them, who knows? Contact Andy Scheckman. Send an email, info at milesfranklin.com if you want to get Eagles or anything else that's got an inventory. Now's your time to make your final purchases in silver, because everybody and their mother knows it's coming. Even the U.S. Mint told the head of Mint sales to stop selling Silver Eagles. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to roadtoruta.com, and it's right there. Actually, it's second now. The interview I had with the head of Silver Eagle program at the U.S. Mint, Yeah, go check that out. It's a 3-part discussion. He basically admits to 5 places the U.S. Mint is breaking the law in order to save the humanity from the price of silver going over $30. It is insane. Absolutely insane. Again, you can contact Andy Scheckman at info at milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com. They have other types of silver. Say you're from Road to Ruta, you'll get the best deal they got. And yeah, we move on from here. Silver's showing a little life. What's happening? The shorts are trying to get out of their short position, but they're not finding anybody who's going to take it over. That's the problem. It's always been the problem. They don't love rigging the silver market. Let me tell you, JP Morgan got out of it stealthily by shorting the silver market and going long, and then all of a sudden doing some major deals behind the scenes, and all of a sudden they're out of their short position. It's like, oh, how'd that happen, and why was it allowed? And it was allowed. The rigging of the silver market, JP Morgan paid a fine of $920 million, the largest fine ever at that point, implemented by the CFTC, but still, it's ridiculous compared to the 1.2, somewhere between 1.2 and 1.5 million ounces, physical ounces that they accumulated. So yeah, they don't mind paying a $920 million fine if they're going to make billions and billions of dollars on the process to get there. Don't forget, they have broken the law 3 times now since the deferred prosecution agreement was put into place almost 3 years ago. So that ends in September, around September 20th. That gives us kind of like a hard date as to when silver rigging either has to end or is going to kick into high gear with JP Morgan back in the game. Lots of eyes are on JP Morgan, but does that really mean much? Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, is front and center with the Epstein information trials going on in the Caribbean, and even the ones going on right now with the kind of the fake settlement that JP Morgan wants to pay people off. Jamie Dimon knows everything about what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein because he was involved in it as well. There's a lot. It goes so deep. I saw a really disturbing video clip that somebody got secretly recording what Biden was whispering to a little girl last weekend. I think they were somewhere in Europe. And he's like whispering in her ear how sexy she is, and don't tell your mother. This is the person that leads the free world. What do you have to say for yourself, Democrats? What do you have to say for yourself, America? I mean, he's your president. Whether or not he was rightfully elected, that's what they're telling the public. And is it true? I don't know. I hope not. But at the same time, that means the good guys are playing games with us too. Everybody, refuses to tell the people the truth. It's getting kind of old, kind of long in the tooth. So I'm a big advocate of truth about everything. So we'll see what happens. By the way, on that note, JFK Jr., who was running for the Democratic presidential thing, said RFK Jr., sorry, will back the U.S. dollar with gold and Bitcoin if elected, and silver. By the way, they said silver. Why wouldn't the criminals over at Kitco say silver? Because he said gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So Kitco, which is a part of the rigging operation, with their pooled accounts, ridiculous company. Yeah, they leave out silver. He was very clear that silver was in this. Quote, hard assets including Bitcoin and precious metals if needed. He actually said silver. Here it is. My plan would be to very small, perhaps 1% of issued T-bills would be backed by hard currency, by gold, silver, palladium, or Bitcoin. With an annual increase. First of all, that would never work. I mean, it's such a ridiculous thing to say on the face of it, but I get what he's trying to say. He's saying, hey, I'm for the people. But in actuality, the actual backing of a redeemable gold or silver fiat money, instantly, people would just cash in their fiat money for the gold. Why wouldn't you? bad money drives out good money, meaning that if bad money's out there that you can use, yeah, they're going to use as much and print as much as they can, and everybody will just hang on to the real assets. So, yeah, I wouldn't say it's amateur to say something like this without a concrete plan. But yeah, I would. But for the vast majority of, especially crypto people, they don't know the difference. Yeah, we're going to use Bitcoin as money. They don't know the ramifications of any of it. And I've said for a very long time, yes, we should. I mean, I have no doubt the U.S. government owns the million Bitcoin that Satoshi supposedly has. So will that be used to implement? I hope so when there's no money. But none of this can happen. The BRICS nation backing their currency with gold. None of this can happen until the old system is destroyed. And this system is destroyed when the derivative market blows. And I think that's what's right now on the docket. Between now and September, the derivative market will blow. That's $2.5 quadrillion to wipe everything out. And then you won't be backing anything. You'll be begging you had gold, truthfully. Begging you had silver. Begging you had Bitcoin. But we won't know the price of it. The exchanges wouldn't function without the banking up and running. So take a keen look at the price of silver, because one day you're not going to know the price of silver. And I think that day is coming very soon. So silver in your hand. Silver in your pocket. Not in the bank. Not in anywhere outside of your own possession. What's going on in silver? Another exchange for physical. Literally, the first 2 weeks in July, there was barely any exchange for physicals, and it has absolutely exploded in the last week and a half. This time, another 4.3 million ounces. So go over to HarveyOregonBlog.com, add 4.3 million ounces. Add that to the July number, and you're already at 65 million ounces in just like a week and a half. 65 million ounces. I think it's going to go up way over 100, 120. Now the max, the biggest number is 100 or 200. It hit 207 million ounces in March of 2022. But remember, like back when the silver squeeze was happening, they were doing like 130 to 150 every single month. Look at this, 139, 138, 149. This is 150 million in June of 2021. Another 130 million, another 140 million. And then all of a sudden it stopped. Which is interesting because that's when Ventris Gibson came in and they shut down very interesting. 2001 was when Ventris Gibson came in and Biden, and they shut down the Silver Eagle programs. So maybe this was going over to the U.S. I don't know. That's interesting, though. It literally stopped in September and then started to build again in October. Now, these are the silver that's bought on the COMEX but transferred over to London for delivery. And I think this is going to blow up to 150 this month, which should be huge. But who knows how that'll work out. Okay, so yes, we have a conspiracy today again. Another thing that can absolutely just blow your socks off. Bank of America. Bank of America, yes, the company that leased all that silver from J.P. Morgan, over at 1.2 billion ounces of silver leased from J.P. Morgan. Who knows what that lease entailed? Do they have to give it back? Bank of America, mid-delivery month, has just stood for delivery on 657 contracts, which is 3.3 million ounces of silver mid-month. Unheard of, but there it is. It's right there. Bank of America just did it. And interesting, the CME had to do it too for 550,000 ounces of silver to deliver over here. And that's to Advantage. And these are the micro silver futures. And Morgan Stanley. So the CME is running out of metal. They had to go in mid-month as well. There's a lot of conspiracies going on. So it puts Bank of America's total all just like in a blink of an eye jumped over 5 million contracts to 750 million contracts right here. B of A Securities. They have taken delivery of 1,540 contracts, which is 750 million ounces, right around there. Again, Who was the issuer of most of these contracts? Well, yesterday they had to pull from Citibank. Citibank again. Ouch. Citibank's getting rocked for their physical silver. Let's see where they are. Citibank, those little bastards. I think they're down at the bottom. There we are. Citibank. There it is. 550. They are knee deep in the over-the-counter derivatives. Clearly, they haven't done anything all year since a massive delivery back in December. Clearly, they had something going on. They had to deliver, that's 2.5, 2.6 million ounces mid-month, which is always hard. And then you have JP Morgan taking it and Morgan Stanley. But B of A is the big one. And don't forget who it was that dumped all their final position in physical at the beginning of the month, Standard Chartered Bank. A long-time criminal rigger in silver. There's a handful of them. But yeah, if you're looking for action and drama in the silver market, it doesn't happen on price. It happens behind the scenes with physical inventories. I mean, the Standard Chartered Bank delivery of 12 million ounces right here is massive. I haven't seen that in a hell of a long time. As a matter of fact, if you take a look, the only entity I would think that could be able to do that would be JP Morgan. Of course, JP Morgan customers, as they're known as now. But still, I mean, the largest delivery month for JP Morgan customers was 1,000 contracts, which is 5 million ounces. Not even close to what Standard Chartered just did. 12 million ounces at the beginning of the July delivery month. That's massive. Let's see if there's anybody else even close to that for deliveries all year. Nope, I don't see anybody. JP Morgan's number 2, but a lot less than what, it's like 40% of what Standard Chartered just delivered this month. This is crazy. Yeah, not even in cumulative. Well, cumulative, JP Morgan. Let's see, cumulative. Let's see, it's 2,000. Cumulative, a little, like 2,800 about for the whole entire year for JP Morgan, the largest rigger there is. And then in 1 month, Standard Chartered dumps 2,403 contracts, 12 million ounces delivered of physical silver by Standard Chartered Bank at the beginning of this month. That's huge. Where's the regulator? Where's the regulator picking his nose like usual? Anyway, so lots going on behind the scenes. As far as cryptos, everybody's coming down off the XRP non-ruling. Customers are saying, oh, cryptos are not securities. The judge said so. And then the banks are saying, how come we're being called securities when we buy them, but not the retail customers? Which is it? Because if it's true what this judge says and it stands, that would mean the banks can't buy the XRP, and it was securities. So will they all have to give it back? Give back the XRP that they bought, which is a ridiculous crypto. Anyway, it never was going to be the crypto of the banksters for settling cross-border transactions. We'll see. I don't know. However it turns out, I don't know. The best thing that can happen from this is Congress gets off their ass really fast and says, because this judge, who really knows nothing about cryptos, said that the retail side cryptos are not securities, we're going to make a law about that before it gets reversed. So if they make a law before this ruling gets reversed, then it's in the law. All of a sudden, there's a law with cryptos in it, and it says they're not securities, at least for the retail customer. So it basically would be a get-out-of-jail-free card for anybody who participated in an ICO or bought and sold cryptos on exchanges. As far as what happens with Ripple, XRP, and all that, I have no idea. It's all part of the game. So people are playing the game. My number one crypto is and always has been, not always, but since it came out, Theta. The Theta Network is just massive. You're going to see Amazon create an Amazon coin on the Theta Network. You're going to see the same for Apple. You're going to see everybody creating their own blockchains on the Theta Network, which would use T-Fuel. You're going to need T-Fuel for that. And they're all going to want to be validators. So you're going to see Amazon come on as a Theta validator. They probably already have a lot of Theta and continue to load up on the sly. Amazing technology in so many different ways. Not only creating subchains, but also sharing broadband, the last mile. Live. If you like live streaming, we can't live stream with today's infrastructure of sports. Netflix is building out that business, but we don't have the network capacity or the broadband capacity on the last mile. It would be just clog up everything. All you'll see is that little circle going around and around, and that's what Theta fixed. And by the way, did I tell you that the Theta edge node, where basically you share your broadband, is downloadable onto every single device that is purchased out there, like all the smart TVs. So Samsung, who's a big partner with Theta, and Sony, who's a big partner with Theta, could download on all their TVs a Theta edge node, and all of a sudden every customer of theirs will be earning T-Fuel and participating in securing the network. It's amazing stuff. They just did an AMA and Ask Me Anything with the head guys at Theta, and they came out with a little sneak peek in that right before the FTX debacle, Coinbase was about to allow Theta and Theta Fuel trading on Coinbase. Woohoo! 300 million potential buyers right there. So yeah, if you don't have any Theta, most Roto-Rooter people already have Theta, but if you don't have it, I don't know what the price will go to. In a crash, we don't even know the price of anything, so it doesn't matter. But if you don't have it in your own possession already, you're going to be buying it later. You're just going to be buying it for 10, 20, 50, 100 times the price. So you buy it now or buy it later and stick it away for good. I'm a buyer of Theta and Theta Fuel. I'm a buyer of silver still. I'll be a buyer of silver for quite a while, under at least under the 7-to-1 ratio that it comes out of the ground. And then I'll start thinking. There might be other investments that, if Theta hasn't run by then, I'll just buy up all the Theta. And those markets are just as rigged as all the other markets. But when Theta becomes available on Coinbase, which can be any day now, who knows? It'll probably double or triple right off the bat. And then everyone's like, what's this Theta thing? Bix, didn't I hear you talking about that a couple years back? Yes, it's an amazing invention, a way to share broadband and a way to create blockchains without the centralization problem. So, amazing stuff. Go check it out. And by the way, if you're wondering how the Biden administration got a hold of inflation, they basically dumped everything out of the coffers for the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So all the oil and gas that the Biden said, we're going to shut that down. They just went into the piggy bank of the U.S. as far as oil and dumped it all. And now it's half empty and still don't have inflation under control. So can Biden even try to fill it up? I don't think they will. There are other ways to make energy and other reasons to have energy and other ways to get oil. You can do some deep drilling and find the source of the oil. No, oil isn't a fossil fuel. It's abiotic. It's created inside the earth. So do some research there. But Russia's got as much oil. We have as much oil as we want. In Gull Island, out of Alaska, we found it in I think it was the fifth. No, it had to be the 70s. 60s or 70s, we found like 200 years worth of oil at Gull Island off of Alaska, and then they just shut everything down into a national wildlife preserve. Welcome to America again. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. Buy as much silver as you can while you can, and then when silver starts blowing by $30 and then $50, and then the people of the world will say, oh my God, what's happening to this thing called silver? You just say, hey, I'm just buying it because every flat screen TV, every electric car, and every solar panel is going to use up 100% of the silver each, at least the cars and the solar panels. in less than 30 years. So where are we going to get the extra silver? We're not. It's going to be a price thing. There just won't be as many made for the most part. And alternatives will spring up, but they won't be as good. Silver's the best conductor of electricity by far. So keep an eye on that. Lots of crimes to be uncovered as we head down the road to the end game. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.